All I'm gonna say is December 4th, 2022. December 4th, 2022. What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're gonna talk some football. We're gonna talk about this whole Deshaun Watson situation, the suspension. Did he get off easy? Did the NFL get it right? We're gonna break it down. Before we get in there, like I tell y'all before, if you liking the content, make sure you liking the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment on all the videos and you sharing all the videos on all social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use, make sure you're sharing on those same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The links in the description below. We also giving away 30 days free Amazon Prime. So if you don't have Amazon Prime, sign up, get your free 30 days. The links in the description. If you sign up, you get a free 30 days. Also, like I just said, the links to my social media is in the description as well. So hit them links. Follow me on social media. Get your free 30 days of Amazon Prime if you don't have that already. And let's get this channel growing and growing and growing. Now, let's talk about it because the suspension has been laid out. We've been speculating, been talking about it for months, over a year, whatever. Before Deshaun got traded, now that he's been traded, we've been talking about it for the longest. And it's finally happened. Do we think? And he has been, I don't want to say rewarded, but I guess he's been punished with a 6-game suspension. Now, the difference between Deshaun Watson's suspension and any suspension in NFL history is because they have a new process now. It's no longer the commissioner or whatever levying down suspension. Now they send it to a judge, like arbitrator, like a judge. She goes through it, or he or she, whoever the judge is. I think this case was a woman judge. Goes through the case. They get the NFL side. They get the Players Association side. And then they come, okay, I think you should suspend him. This is what you should suspend him with. I don't think he should get suspended or whatever. I think it's fine, so forth and so forth. So this is the first time that since this process has been given out because people have not liked the whole Roger Goodell suspension over the years. So Deshaun Watson is the first one, is the first person in this case, the very first time this type of situation has been levied out. Now, in saying that, after all that was given up, all the information that's been presented, he was only suspended for 6 games. And a lot of people feel like it's a light suspension. A lot of people feel like he got off easy. I mean, we've been speculating, talking about a year-long suspension. I know I've said this on my channel plenty of times, that it wouldn't surprise me if he got a year and a half, almost 2 years type of suspension because of the magnitude of the situation, the number of cases, just the more information that continues to get brought out and brought out and brought out because, the NFL wants to make an example, just a whole bunch of other things. And this is the situation that has been occurred. Now, if you dial it back some, before Deshaun was even traded and even after Deshaun was traded, I felt like the suspension was going to be originally. I felt like, okay, the suspension would probably get suspended around this 6 games, 8 to 6 games, something like that. Deshaun would appeal, and he'll end up serving 4 games. I said this numerous times. That's the reason why I thought Deshaun would never even play the Texans, because I thought they would make the Texans like the 3rd game of the season, and he would get suspended for the first 4. Because of it was gonna be. I thought it would be a lighter suspension because of there's really no physical evidence of anything. Hence, by why the two juries, the two supreme juries, voted no bill on indicting him with criminal charges, because there's really nothing criminal to really indict him on. There's really not enough evidence and information and things of that nature. So I thought that's why it would be a light suspension, and now why he would be able to also appeal and get it shortened. But when the more information came out, when it came out with the 66 women, and then you had 2 more women add on, and you had the HBO special, and it just started getting a lot. It just got real murky and ugly from late April to the beginning of June. It got real weird and disturbing on that front. And I'm like, okay, the NFL probably is going to lay down the hammer. They're going to make an example of this whole Deshaun Watson situation. They're going to actually make a true example of this whole Deshaun Watson situation and basically, like I say, lay down the hammer. But it's out of the NFL's control to a certain extent. They allowed this process, and this is a real judge. I know people who are out there upset about the suspension. This is a real judge, and there's really nothing there's no criminal evidence, just like why they couldn't indict him and charge him with nothing criminally, because there was no physical evidence. There's no DNA. There's no videotape. There's no, like with Ray Rice, there was a videotape. There's nothing there. None of these women actually claim raped or anything like that. It was sexual misconduct. It was things like that. So it was nothing really for them to hold on to file nothing criminally. So that's why he didn't get any criminal charges. While people was out there a year ago saying, making all these different accusations, talking about, oh, he'll probably go to jail and stuff like that. I kept on saying there's nothing to hold weight from a criminal standpoint. You could sue all day. You can sue behind anything. I mean, you go look at go Google frivolous lawsuits, and you see people getting sued, Fruit Loops getting sued because it's not real fruit. Like people sue behind a whole bunch of different stuff. The whole Gorilla Glue girl is supposed to be suing Gorilla Glue for her putting Gorilla Glue in her own head. So it's a whole bunch of different, it's a whole bunch of things of frivolous lawsuits. So people can sue and countersue behind anything. So that's what these cases are. These women are suing Deshaun, and also it will help Deshaun out as he finally decided to sell his cases. Because if he wouldn't have sold his cases, maybe some things might be a little bit different. But I do think that also helped him in that regard, that he decided to sell his cases. Well, decided to sell, I think, 20 of the 24. And I don't think the 25th and the 26th never really truly got filed, to the best of my knowledge. So I think it's still just the 4 that's left. I know it's still just 4 left, if I'm not mistaken. But it is 66 complete women that he got a massage for. So at any given time, like if you Cleveland, that other shoe can drop at any given moment, because if 24 women filed, and it's 66 different women that he got a massage from, at any given time, 42 to 40 women at any given time could, hey, he did this, hey, he did that, at any given time. So there always could be another shoe to drop. So Cleveland has to worry about that. But because, like I said, since there's nothing really they can hold on to, this true judge was like, you know what? Well, I really can't just love down this big, huge suspension. So yeah, 6 games. 6 games. She might want to do more, but she's a judge. She has to be impartial, and she has to go by the letter of the law. Now, her concern is not what the NFL concern is, which is giving the black stain on the NFL, black eye on the NFL. Because that's the real reason why you get suspended behind stuff, is because of unless it's actually proven that you do something guilty, like drunk driving, things of that nature, substance abuse and things of those nature. But this misconduct is more so giving the NFL a black eye, giving it portraying poorly on the NFL, making the NFL look bad. So she's not biased of the NFL, so she's not going, okay, hey, you made the NFL look bad, I'm gonna lay down the hammer. Yeah, you made the NFL look bad, and you should be punished for making the NFL look bad. Here's 6, 7, 8 games, whatever the case may be. Now, Roger Goodell, on the other hand, because he's the commissioner of the NFL, one of the faces, you make the NFL look bad, he gonna want to lay down the hammer, because it will hurt him financially if people are protesting and all these different things because you letting Deshaun Watson play. That ain't gonna happen to the judge. Like there's nothing gonna happen to her. Like nobody's protesting with her. Like she's not gonna be. If the NFL lose money, she ain't losing no money. That's Roger Goodell and them issue that they have to deal with. So now Roger Goodell, I think, has to Thursday to appeal. Both Roger and Deshaun have a chance to appeal the suspension. You know, Deshaun can appeal and get it shortened, or try to attempt to get it shortened, and Roger Goodell can appeal to try and make it longer. And would Roger Goodell, off the first time you gave this whole new process, would you appeal to make it longer? I know that Roger Goodell desperately wants to, because this is going to hurt the NFL financially to some degree. And not it's always going to be this big thing, but it's going to be a bad look. I put it like that. Maybe not financially. It might not hurt financially because it's a $1 billion industry, multi-billion-dollar industry at that. But what it will do is going to be a bad look. That's part of the reason why they made sure. I think Cleveland has like 1 or 2 primetime games, and I think it's in that 6-game stretch, if I'm not mistaken. Like that, Cleveland's not going to be on primetime that often. So you want to make sure you minimize the showing of Deshaun Watson to a national audience, because to some of this dies down a little bit, because eventually you're going to run into it. Deshaun can be suspended for 2 years. Eventually, whenever he plays, it's going to be a deal, especially with him missing all last season. But there is one thing, there's one silver lining, because I know a lot of Texan fans out there want Deshaun to be suspended for the complete season, because either they mad at Deshaun, hate Deshaun, whatever the case may be, or B, you want Cleveland to play as bad as they possibly can because you want the draft picks. You want the draft picks. You have the draft picks. You want that draft pick to be a high draft pick. One silver lining, and it's COVID. These women that Sean was seeing or flying out, whatever the case may be, he was doing all these things in 2020. Majority of them were in 2020, during the COVID year, during the whole COVID protocols and things like that. And Deshaun has already been fined for a violation of COVID. The whole thing at lefties. Him and a whole bunch of teammates were there unmasked. Actually, I think that either they were unmasked or they were masked. Whatever the case may be, he was fined. So he already broke COVID protocol once. He was fined and reprimanded for. It was just fine, no suspension, nothing like that, because I don't think nobody tested positive, but he still broke protocol and he was fined. This would fall under the same era of breaking COVID protocol once again, and it would be his second offense. Now, however many games it could be, if it's 1 game, 2 game, 3 game, 4 game, 5 game, whatever, there is a silver lining if they choose to make the suspension longer and they don't want to go the route of appealing the process of the 6 games. And we know what, okay, we accept the 6-game proposal, but also we want to tack on, because he was a repeat offender of breaking COVID protocol. We want to suspend him for another, because he did. We want to suspend him for breaking COVID protocol another 4 games. That makes it 10. Now you get into the double digit. Now maybe Deshaun tries to appeal that. I don't know how much he'll win, because he actually did break COVID protocols. And I mean, if he don't have no video evidence to prove that he didn't do anything wrong, he wouldn't have any video evidence to prove that him or the masseuse had on masks. The women could also, I'm pretty sure, because they'll be mad about Deshaun Watson only getting a 6-game suspension, I'm pretty sure they'll definitely testify if it came to that they were there maskless, he was there maskless, and things like that. So if they want to go that route, if they want to at least in some way save face and not appeal the process after the whole, not appeal the judge on her very first ruling in this whole situation, not to appeal her process, but also want to save face and want to add some more suspension to make it look like hey, we want to get we want to make sure we get him. We want to make sure that he doesn't get off just scot free. We want to make sure he don't get off just scot free. We're gonna add this on because he did do this, and now you can now stretch it out to now it's a 10-game suspension. He's serving 6 games for this and 4 games for that, and then boom, it's a total of 10 games. At the end of the day, when you put everything in totality, it still looks bad, especially when you have Calvin Ridley serving an indefinite suspension for gambling in the football game that he didn't play in. And like it was a football game that he didn't even play in. It wasn't like, oh, he gambled in the. It wasn't like he gambled in the football game. It wasn't like he gambled in the football game that he could play and throw the game off like, oh, I'm gonna drop some catches. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna block to make sure my team help my team lose. That way I can win some money. Like, it's not so it actually doesn't ruin the integrity of the game because you didn't do anything you didn't have any type of control of the outcome of the game, yay or nay. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he used the NFL site. I think he used FanDuel, one of the NFL site, but one of the things that the NFL partners with FanDuel. So he actually used one of the NFL's gambling processes. So, and again, they actually have straight cut rules about gambling, I'm pretty sure. So I know that's a little bit more cut and dry. But it's just, when in the grand scheme of things, like, man, a guy got 26 lawsuits, even though somebody could just go up there and easily just sue him for any reason. I'm not here to talk about guilty or innocent. I'm just like, just putting yourself in that predicament, man, that versus gambling on a game he couldn't even play. 6-game suspension indefinitely, like kind of like it kind of leaves a bad look in a lot of people's eyes on this whole situation. People who are for Deshaun Watson, people who are neutral, don't even care. People who are definitely against Deshaun Watson, people who watch in the field, whatever. It has a bad look all the way around. The only way to end the silver line for the NFL to save face is that's the one little trump card they got in their back pocket. Hi, he didn't break COVID protocol before. Hey, we can try to get him on that. We could try to get him on the COVID. We could try to get him on that. So we'll see. We'll see if the NFL even tries to appeal, which I really don't know if they will. This might be the best route, the best option. All I know is either way it goes, if they don't appeal or if they add on, like I say, 2 to 4 games, I don't think they add on 6 games, but 2 to 4 games, December 4th, this makes a return to Houston.